mean, you can't be mad at, $86,000 in the last, 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's
as
what I
as
was gonna ask you. I
yeah,
forgot to
yeah,
ask you
that
that. Thank you.
um I don't think I ever in my career have been able to just sit down and get a hold of, you know, 9 clients, maybe two or three or four, that you're back and forth on the phone with, but nine, I mean, that's just, insane. And then, obviously, um, I believe two of those right off the bat, were ready to sign paperwork and get on the schedule, which I was just totally confused by. How did my $25, turn into 6,000?
Hey guys, before we get into the interview with Norman, I just want to show you how you can have the same success he's had. We have the mobile home mover lead shop here. Click on that, and it's going to take you to our lead shop with all of our leads in it. We have 3 different views. We have grid view, map view, and table view. Right now we're in table view. It has the timestamps on the left-hand side. Grid view is good for phones and tablets. Map view is good for getting a general location of the lead. You zoom in to a state. We'll use Missouri, for example. You can see where all the leads are in Missouri. It's not going to give me an exact location, but it's close. If you want to subscribe to your state, you can click on your state here, put your email address in here, and then just hit subscribe to mail list. The second way to use trailer home leads is to actually subscribe to your state. So when you subscribe to your state, you are actually going to be the only one receiving leads for your state. You're essentially buying them all. And when we do that, you'll pay a monthly subscription. So let's log in here. I'll show you what it looks like. So these are all test leads that I put in here. This is an example of a Florida state portal. Obviously, you're going to have more than 4 leads in here. These are just fake people. But this is a new lead that came in. So if we click on details here, we can see it's Amy Miller. Again, these are all fake names, fake number, fake email address. The year of the mobile home when it was built, single wide. It's a 14 by 66, average condition. It's going from this address in Gainesville to this address in Gainesville. It's on a private lot. Give the mobile home away for free to whoever pulls it off the property. And if they scroll down, you can see the notes from lead. I just need to haul it off. I don't care if you take it for free. If you don't want it, I need to move to the address above. It's my vacant land. So it gives a little bit of a scenario. You can quote the lead from here if you want. It will send it to their email address, or you can just give them a call. Over here in the map view, we can see where our leads are on a map. You can also take some of the same actions here. You can open details. Here you can leave a note for your assistant. If you have one, you can add an assistant to this. And if your assistant's name is Betty, please reach out to Bill. You can send that off. And then Betty will log into her end and give you an update when she's finished. So the third way to use trailer home leads is we're working on it right now. We are licensed freight brokers in all 50 states. We're working on something that's pretty revolutionary for the mobile home moving industry, which we'll make that announcement at a later date, probably in about 3 weeks here. But stay tuned. If you guys want to come on as carriers for us or mobile home movers that work with our brokerage, reach out, support@trailerhomeleads.com, and we'll take any questions you got. You can also go to Trailer Home Leads. Let's see here. And if you scroll down to the bottom, put your full name, phone number, email address, hit submit, and we'll reach out to you. Cool. Enjoy the interview. We're live.
Perfect.
Sweet. Thanks for coming on today, Norman. Going to give you a brief introduction. So you are 21 years old. You were born
Yep.
in 2003, which which makes me feel pretty old. From Alma, Michigan. You currently, what's the name of your company?
A&N Complete Mobile Home Services.
All right, you run three crews, and you got
Yep.
six trucks, two toters, two semis, and two follow vehicles. I will say for a 21-year-old dude, that's pretty impressive. That's like
I
really
appreciate it.
impressive. Yeah, no, you're killing it, man. Um, okay, did I miss anything?
Nope.
Perfect. Um, so the point of today's call, well, one of the points is to get into the lead gen system and essentially your review of it. I'm gonna explain a little bit about it, and then you can go into like what you think of it. Um, so I started as a mobile home investor about 4 years ago in South Carolina. I noticed that the quality of mobile home mover wasn't so great, and I also have a full time job, so it's not like I can get out there and start moving homes and try to become a mobile home mover myself.
Right.
Um, so I tried to get into a parallel venture, and I think it's working so far. But I started Trailer Home Leads. We are a lead generation service for mobile home movers, and last year in August, we became licensed brokers. Um, so, Norman, if you can kind of walk them through when a lead comes through from our system, what it looks like on your end.
Yep. So once we receive the lead, automatically seconds after, we get an email sent directly to us. From there, we get the address, from where the home's located and where the home's going to, um, the size of the home, um, axles, hitches that there, any key details for a mobile home mover, site preparation, um, how much money they're looking to spend, all key details when you're looking to get a quote. Once we receive that, we usually try to give them, 20 minutes or so, is usually the longest that it goes. We get a hold of them, walk them through the steps of what happens, when you do relocate a mobile home. Um, we then give them a quote, and if everything works okay, as far as price, timeline, things like that, um, we would then fill out a contract and, receive half down. As of right now, a lot of people are waiting, um, until the warmer months, but for, how cold it is, we've done extremely well in the last 3 months. And I do have some of those numbers that we can, run through whenever you're ready.
As far as the as far as the number of jobs you've done from your organic lead generation and versus our system, um, how many jobs are you actually getting from trailer home leads, and then how many jobs are you getting from your organic?
I would say it's pretty comparable. If as far as leads, we're getting way more attention from trailer home leads. I mean, normally organically we're getting 3 or 4 calls. Um, on slow weeks, other weeks we could get 3 or 4 calls a day. Right now, consistently, we're getting 2 to 4 on trailer home leads, and for it being, slow season, that's extreme growth.
Yeah,
Especially seeing we ultimately have, like, I don't have to talk with an operator on the phone to get, situated. I'm not, paying all sorts of hidden fees and crazy things. Everything's straightforward. Um, it's a very tuned in system as far as all the questions answer themselves. When you're moving a home, obviously the key details are running gear, and with that being on there, that's really a game changer. And what I like about that is the people that don't know what that is or how to find that, can communicate that up front compared to, you driving to the site and seeing that it's not there. And any mobile home mover definitely knows what I'm talking about with that.
Awesome. Yeah, so essentially, we just like uh, doubled your numbers essentially for work coming in, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Um, and one thing I wanted to say, the reason I don't think I finished the reason why I got into this side. Um, I wanted to find good people to take care of my clients as well. So we also have another mobile home mover down here in South Carolina that's signed up for the system. But the point of this system is to give good people a lot of business. And we try to do it at an affordable rate. We can get into that later. Um, uh, but it's to elevate those businesses that are already doing good work. You know, they're honest. They don't take people's money and then not perform the job. I think I told you before, I got burned out of 12 grand from a mover that I had paid a down payment to move 4 double wides, and he just kind of
Yep.
ghosted, and then he
Hmm.
ended up in jail. Um, not by me, but a bunch of people reported him. But yeah, that's the point of this. We find good people that are honest, ethical, and then we elevate their business, and that's what we're about.
Well, and
Um,
the best thing about that too is it's not one location, it's the entire country.
yeah,
So you're not just, focusing, the what your plan is in one spot. I mean, we're hours and hours apart, and you've put lots of time and effort, and the communication is, phenomenal compared to, say you're trying to get your business on Google. I mean, you spend 3 weeks trying to go through verification before you even get listed,
yeah,
and then there's all sorts of other companies that you have to pay, and, to even get on there, and then, they'll pay, want to take money for just whatever. And the thing is, I'm on Google right now and I get general contractor calls all the time, and it's not even mobile home related compared to, this. You may have a customer that's just looking for a quote, but it's still, your chances of getting a call back or actually scoring that job are way higher. So,
that's awesome to hear. Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about uh, why that is. So, um, I'm in the military, so I can't. The first 2 years, when I was building the business, I was actually the one going out to these homes, and then the next 2 years, we had kids. So, I mean, you know how it is. I had
yep.
to convince my now business partner to quit his job and do the investments with me full time. And then what I did is I took a back seat and I just learned lead generation, building lead funnels, building uh, building advertisement lead funnels, building websites. So that's really where I excelled. And then when I saw that problem in the mobile home moving industry with just bad movers, I was like, I think I can do something parallel to this and help out the good guys. So anyway, um, let's talk about. I think if I remember correctly, you purchased 9 leads from the lead shop, right? Like before
Yep.
you even started um, subscribing. Can you talk about those first nine?
Yeah. Yep. So the first nine, obviously the idea of, um, giving somebody, buying something that's not guaranteed. At first, I was extremely skeptical of, okay, there's all sorts of scams. You never know, especially in this industry, what you're going to get. But obviously, you and I talked. You're very, reassuring, explaining the process, and not skipping anything along the line. It was very thorough. And when we did those first nine, and I got a hold of the customer, and I walked them through the steps of what's going on and what needs to be done. Um, I don't think I ever in my career have been able to just sit down and get a hold of, you know, 9 clients, maybe two or three or four, that you're back and forth on the phone with. But nine, I mean, that's just, insane. And then, obviously, um, I believe two of those right off the bat, were ready to sign paperwork and get on the schedule, which I was just totally confused by. How did my $25, turn into 6,000? Um, and it's that small of an investment that can, lead, it's trailer home leads, it just, I couldn't believe it. And then those nine obviously turned into five more, and then six more, and then next thing I said, well, I might as well just take, the entire state at this point. So from there, the thing that I like the most is it's not just, small jobs, somebody looking to, you know, um, get you to just sneak a home. It's big jobs too. Like this job we're on today, and currently it's a huge job. And I like the flexibility that there's options, and for different, companies that might work best. Um, there's all different wides and varieties of, different mobile home related jobs that need done, um, and moved that, you essentially have in the palm of your hand. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. And for our audience, you guys don't know, if we're not brokering in a state, and right now the only states we're brokering in is Florida and Texas, we let movers like you subscribe to states, and I can show a different video about that later. And they basically, you get all the leads for your state wherever they are, and you travel all over, right?
yep,
Yeah. So that's awesome. The big job you're on now is actually a modular, right?
yep.
So this was, I don't think you usually get modulars, but it turned out to be a pretty good job for you, right?
Yeah, yeah, $50,000. So, um, you know, a lot of people don't make that in a year or sometimes 2 years. So to make that on one job, roughly 4 weeks, is what, all in it's going to take us to get it finished. Um, as of right now, um, it was 50,000 total. As of today, they've paid us up to 40,000. So
Nice.
they only owe us 10,000, which feels, great. The customer's been awesome. They've kept us paid along the way. Once we got about to the 75% mark, they sent us an ACH transfer. Um, it's a huge job. It's a modular on a foundation. We did a pad. Um, we're doing skirting, siding, porches, and a shed. We moved the shed. Um, which is all obviously things that we offer. Um, and it's beautiful scenery right on a golf course. And I mean, for $50,000, it's a no-brainer. And then I signed another one yesterday, or excuse me, 2 days ago. Um, it's a $10,000 job, and she got on and paid with her card and paid 5,000 down. So, I mean, you can't be mad at that. I mean, it's just kind of makes you smile. So
Dude, it really does. It makes me smile. I mean, I know you're a really good dude, and I'm super super happy for you.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
Yeah, like I think I told you this on the phone like the other night. I think it's like 2 weeks ago when you were telling me about the modular job. I was like, man, I'm tearing up because this is like everything I was trying to do, and it's actually coming to fruition. So,
Yep.
super awesome. Okay, well, I can explain everything else about trailer home leads in a different video, but I want to get into some of the industry. Common problems I see, and I want to see if it's if you see the same problem. So, first question is, uh, as an industry for mobile home movers, what is the biggest problems you see? Um, and it could be really anything like weather, whatever. It could. I know my answers, but I'm not gonna give them away.
Sure, sure. Well, I think there's a lot. It's a long list. The biggest thing is obviously people being uneducated about the process and then obviously what it takes. Moving a mobile home is extremely labor intensive, and there's a lot of companies, or a few companies out there that'll undercut everybody and either take deposits and not do the work, or take the deposit and essentially half-ass the job. They're gonna come in, play like they know what they're doing, take the money, get somebody locked down, not fill out a contract, not do anything by the book that everybody that's honest and is really in this to do. And then that gives a bad rap. And then obviously, people being uneducated, you have the homeowners that um, think that it's just a quick, you throw tires on it and roll. That's not the case. So just because your home's going 20 miles doesn't mean I should only charge you $1,000.
Yeah,
If I need to, haul porches and sheds and do concrete work and set it back up, I mean, $1,000 is barely going to cover, labor and fuel to even get there and work for one day. So obviously that's an issue, and then obviously the other main issue and concern would be, um, when you go and get these homes from factories, um, you have the problem of the preparation from the factory, all the running gear, the axles, the tires, obviously the hitches as well. That stuff's not being looked at or taken care of. I mean, these factories are using um, old, beat up, running gear that's already been used, from the 80s, and people are getting, hurt and, killed. There's a big company, Bakers. I'm sure you've heard of them, and a part of their crew. Um, he died not that long ago because an issue with the factory. I believe I don't know the whole story, but from what I gathered, he was changing something underneath of the home. He was on the side of the road, and obviously somebody struck the unit. And we've had our fair share. I'd say in the last 6 months, we've had probably three very, very close calls, of units either from a factory, um, where either tires, are flat right off the get, hub, axle and hub issues that you don't see from the naked eye, but that, should be taken care of. I mean, these factories have thousands and thousands of dollars and, insurance policies that they should be abiding by and things that they should be taking care of, but they're not, which is obviously causing, injury or death into somebody that's in the industry. I mean, that's scary. So,
oh,
um,
yeah,
I have a wife and two kids. I'd like to make it home every night. Um, and some people they just never have or never will because, essentially negligence of the factories. Um, they're not taking care of, the people that are keeping the world go round. They should be, making sure that all the running gear is taken care of. I mean, we shouldn't be using 40-year-old axles. I mean, they should be new. Everything should be greased. These tires shouldn't be, have been ran, 10 different homes over the last 10 years. I mean, they should be good, ready to go, not dry rotted. The axles should be bolted correctly. Just all those sorts of things can save, the headache. I don't know how many times I've been, you know, down, either in, Grand Rapids or Detroit, a big town, and been right on the side of a busy highway, dealing with things like that. Um, and I don't really, I've had other times where like the siding has been struck on a house or the door of our semi got hit one time. I mean, that's an extremely close call. I mean, my own dad, he drives for me, and he had to climb inside of our toolbox on the side of our semi and climb up it like a ladder, because the semi was coming directly at him, not paying attention. So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So, and I
Some
mean,
scary stuff,
obviously,
man.
stuff's gonna happen. You're gonna blow tires. It's gonna happen. But stuff that can be, prevented needs to be prevented. So whether that's, running more axles, I mean, a lot of these factories are running 3 or 4 axles when they should be running 7 or 8. So those would be my main concerns. But I could go on and on all day with those.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know about that about the factories. I assumed, I mean, not being directly in your shoes or the moving industry, that they would have a supplier of new axles, but I guess they're just buying them from axle resellers. Is that the
Yep,
case?
yep.
Interesting. Did not
Cheaper the
know that.
better is what they go by. So,
Wow. Yeah, that's super concerning. Didn't know that. But I'll go through some of my points. So it's funny you hit on education because that was my number one. But kind of not only on the person who wants, not only the client side, but also on the mover side in two categories. One, a mover that or a person that wants to get into the moving industry, and then two, from a business perspective, how do you take yourself out of your business once you've grown large enough to do that? That's I see missing a lot. I see a lot of owner operated mobile home moving companies, and I don't know if you want to do this for the next 40 years of your life. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you love it that much. Um, but I see a lot of mobile home movers. They're so focused on being in the field and trying to secure the next job that they can't take themselves out of that. They have no mechanism of which to do that.
yep.
So that the business side, the education side, kind of slides downhill, and then what it turns into is just always chasing the next job.
Hmm.
So that's another thing we want to help with. But um, yeah, so there's that aspect, and then on like you said on the client side, them not knowing how much it's actually going to cost, not knowing county zoning regulations, whether they're actually legally able to move a mobile home there, what the utility requirements are, if utilities have to be installed. I don't know about Michigan, but every state is different and every county is different. So a lot of times when we're on broker calls, we'll end up calling the county for the client because they have no idea what to ask. And then each county has their own specific zoning code. So here it might be in South Carolina in Charleston County, the code might be MBH, like zoned to for mobile home. In
Yep.
in Daytona, Florida, it might be XYZ, and you can put a mobile home on that. So like every county is different, and a lot of people they just don't know how to parse it out and figure out if their land can actually have a mobile home on it. And then the time it takes to get permits is another thing,
Hmm. Yep.
and what the permit requirements are because um, where I am, you need a title. In every single county, you need a title in order to pull a permit to move it. And then on top of that, every county is going to prorate you taxes. So if I want to move my mobile home out of Charleston County right now, I'm going to pay all of 2025 taxes. And then when I get to wherever I'm moving at, let's say Orangeburg County, I don't have to pay 2025 taxes for Orangeburg, but I'm prorating that. So Charleston County gets like $1,000 for
Hmm.
for like 2 weeks of me
That's an
being
interesting. Yeah, that's
yeah.
different.
But that goes back to the education part. And honestly, not many people are going to be moving their mobile homes more than 2 or 3 times in their life, if that. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to nail down. Um, there was one more problem I had. Let me see. Oh yeah, the startups. So The guy actually that owns the South Carolina leads,
Yep.
um, one of his biggest complaints was that he couldn't find anywhere to start. Like, how do you even learn how to like pour a pad or stack cinder blocks, and
Yep.
he took the course, but like, dude, there's nothing out there, and then nobody
Hmm.
wants to help you because you're everybody's competition.
Right.
I don't know. Do you know of any resources that could
I
help actually
I
help you?
don't. I mean, the biggest help is going to be obviously Google. But it's kind of hard to get Google certified. Um,
True.
the biggest thing is just getting contacts. And I dealt with another dealer. Maybe I ought to introduce you to, but he was looking to do kind of the same thing that you're doing. And he wanted to start like kind of like a guidebook. And get that circulating, which would have, the steps of, what to do. Here's how how it should happen. I didn't go into too much detail as far as, if he was looking to sell that, just kind of educate people. But we tossed up the idea of, obviously that, and then in there, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exact pricing, but obviously a general idea of what it should cost. I mean, we don't want to see somebody's grandma paying $30,000 to move a single wide 20 miles.
Yeah.
So, if it's something that we can kind of, break down and have people look for, a professional's opinion, get, maybe multiple quotes or, um, you know, something to that aspect. That's kind of what we've talked about and tossed up the idea of. So,
Yeah, so kind of tangential to that, a lot of what you end up seeing in a lot of successful people in business, or on the flip end, unsuccessful people, is they'll start like an education company. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but we're part of Pace Morby's Sub Two group. Again, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but
I have not.
it's a method of purchasing a house subject to the existing loan, and he did that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and he got really good at it. And then he's like, I can teach other people how to do this. Um, and so he has a massive community of just teaching people how to invest in housing um,
Yep.
this specific way. And there's a few methods that branch off from that subject to purchasing, but I don't know. It seems like I think the market is out there, especially like for a good mentor, especially if you're like rocking it in the business and looking
Yep.
to like maybe get out of the business, but still kind of be tangential to it. Um, Education is something that this industry needs um, for movers wanting to get into it. And dude, it's a no brainer. In my opinion, I've actually talked to Larry, the South Carolina mover. I'm like, dude, why don't we just start an education business? Because I think it'd be killer. You sell like $200 to $300 packages, and then I don't know, 3 or 4 thousand if you want to do a mentorship one-on-one kind of thing.
Yep.
It just makes sense in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer. Another thing, while I'm thinking about it is, um, obviously, with the mentorship, a lot of people get into the industry, move a mobile home, and then, you know, hurt themselves. So I think that would really be. I've heard of quite a few this year alone of people trying to get into the industry. They join, they move, 3 or 4 houses successfully, and then on the fifth one, I heard of a guy, the house dropped, broke his ribs, and then another one, somebody got ran over, and the tire was on their chest.
Oh man.
Um, and I think, something like that would help to kind of keep, the uneducated, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The biggest thing is I don't know how often I have customers that they want their house moved out before the first because they're in a mobile home park or something like that, and they just rush, 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 rush. So, to somebody that's inexperienced, it's their first year. I've seen people getting homes ready in the dark.
Oh
Um,
man.
I mean, you shouldn't be working on a mobile home, laying underneath it, lifting it in the air in the dark, unless you absolutely have to. I've done it, but I've also been doing it for almost 10 years. Um, and it's because we're blocking a road and we have to get the house in, but, we're doing it safely. We're taking our time. Um, and, I don't know how often I have a customer call me and it's the 22nd and they need their house out by the first. And I'm like, I can't even, I'm scheduled out for 2 months. And it's hard as, obviously a mover to not, take their deposit and, move them in, but you've got to know when to say no. And almost every time, somebody else swoops in and either takes it or, they just kind of deal with it and get on the schedule. So,
Yeah, dude, we have the same. I'm gonna make sure my mic is good. You're coming in strong. Am I coming in through all right?
yeah, yep, you
Okay.
sound great.
Dude, on the investment side, like we have kind of the same system set up, like we do for you guys, where like we get emails or text messages when we get a lead in. I actually just got a lead while we were on the on this call. Um,
Yep,
but we have people that are like, I need this gone in like I need to sell it in 7 days, and like my next question is like, all right, does it need to be moved or can it stay there?
right,
90% of the time, it's like it's got to be moved. I'm like, okay, we're looking at like a 45 to like 90-day time frame. We're not looking at like a 1 week time frame. And then
right,
some people have even said like, okay, we'll just give you our home if you can get it off. I'm like, it's not possible. Like I can't, like I can't like take your home and tell you it's gonna be off in a week because like people are busy and
right.
usually the movers we work with are like scheduled 30 to 45 days out in
Yep.
advance. So yeah, I feel you there. It sucks that you lose the business, and we had a double wide where it was that exact scenario, and we gave the lady um, the rundown, and we're like, we will get you. I think she wanted like $5,000, and we were gonna list it for her. So she said, we'll get
Yep.
you $5,000. We'll list the home, but it's gonna take like 45 to 60 days to get it moved off your property. But the problem is, and I see this often, is they put a down payment on a new home at a dealership. So the dealer is now charging them for it being on their lot.
Yep. Yep.
And this is kind of a funny story. Um, so she said, okay, we'll go with you guys. But then another investor friend of mine also got the same lead. And he went out there and he's like, I'll buy it. I'll give you like, I think he gave her like 1,500 for it. And we'll get it gone in like 30 days. He's a good dude, but poor judgment in this one. Um, uh, so she was like, okay, okay. So she took the like 1,500 or whatever it was. It was way lower than ours. And uh, he calls me. He's like, "Do you have any buyers?" And I was like, "Well, send me the pictures." And he sends me the pictures. I was like, "Dude, we literally just looked at this. And we thought we were gonna go under contract with her." He's like, "Oh, well, I just bought it." I was like, "Oh, congratulations, whatever it happens."
Yep.
And then he flew to Kazakhstan on vacation,
Oh wow.
and I was like, and then she's calling us back, and she was like, can you guys like move it off the property? I was like, no, you literally sold it to somebody.
You're right.
No, but we all got a good laugh out of it. It was kind of funny in the end, but yeah, definitely a problem, and that falls under the clientele education.
Sorry if
Um,
you can hear my kids in the background. They're upstairs running around like
dude,
hooligans.
you do not have to apologize. on work calls. Usually got a screaming 2-year-old around my neck, so I totally
Yeah,
get it. But dude, you just got done with a 14-hour day, so
I did.
I'm not gonna hold you very much longer. Do you have any parting remarks?
No, no, everything was pretty straightforward. I appreciate you getting me on here, and I hope it reaches the right people. And I mean, you can't be mad at $86,000 in the last 2 months.
Oh wow,
Um,
that's what I
as
was gonna ask you. I
Yeah,
forgot to
yeah,
ask you that. Thank you.
that's what we have. Technically, under contract, and we're happy with that. So, I appreciate you letting me be a part of this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So,
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm super excited too. $86,000 under
yeah,
contract. That's
yep,
amazing. But that's why we started it. So
yes, sir.
awesome,
Yep.
dude. Norman Davis. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Definitely. See ya.
Yep. Bye.